hair is ridiculous. Hello, people. Yes, I know I need a haircut. I'm gonna get one eventually. Eventually. Hopefully next Monday. Yes, I have been published. It took 40 years. It took 40 years to get my name in this collection of short stories by 8 other people. But I have been published. It took a long time. A lot of persistence. There's my story right there. Can you see it? I can't tell. The light is. Where am I going? It's called writing, not sitting around thinking about writing. That's the. They wanted a quote about writing from you, from the writer for writing. So that was the quote I gave them. It's called writing, not sitting around thinking about writing. D.A. Sigler. It's about the story about a guy who just comes to understand his heritage, returns to his Jewish heritage, dealing with family, dealing with one of his parents, the father mostly. It's loosely biographical up to a point. It's okay. I like it. Like, hey, it got me published. And you can't find this on Amazon. I think it's what, $10 or something like that. I'm very proud of that because it's. But yes, I've been published. Now, I've had poetry published, but not like this. But I like writing. 90% of the time. The problem with writing is that we writers like to say we like writing, but we have to at times make ourselves do it, which is what writing is all about. Making yourself do it. It's finding that time. That time. It's not finding time to do it. It's knowing you have time and making yourself do it sometimes. I mean, I have too many projects already. I'm working on. I'm always having more, and I'm rewriting stuff from my previous flash drives. I have 139 stories on one flash drive, and I'm trying to rewrite them on my blog site. They're never all going to get on there. It just isn't going to happen because I procrastinate like most writers, and like most writers, we keep telling ourselves we're going to get there. We never actually get to it. But I do like writing. I've liked writing for a long time. I started. The thing is, I really started taking writing seriously, only within the last 10 years or so. I mean, I've been writing since, for 40 odd years. At least since when I wrote my first few poems when I was living in Okinawa, Japan. And they were doggerel. They were okay. The very first one I ever wrote was about my cat. About my cat I used to have, Copperfield. Yes, he was named after the novel David Copperfield. But I like the creative process. I like thinking about writing, and like most writers, we love to think about writing, but to actually write becomes a chore, a monumental chore. Because that story that I finally got published shouldn't have taken me as long to write it. It took me 6 months. It should have taken me a month. It took me 6 months to write it. And that wasn't just because I kept interrupting myself with other things to write about. It just took me that long to get back to it off and on. Writers are impossible creatures. We know that. We like to talk about writing more than actually writing. We like to talk about our ideas to ourselves. Never ask a writer what they're doing while they're writing. We really don't want to talk about what we're working on at the moment because we know that by the time we're done finishing it, it's not going to resemble what we told you when you first asked the question. We like writing. We like to tell you what we're writing. But, sorry. But, we don't really want to tell you because we know full well that we may never finish it. We're going to rewrite it 1,000 billion times, and it's not going to resemble what we told you. We just may never finish it. And did I mention we never finish it? Because a lot of times that's what writers do. We like to talk about our plots when we're asked, knowing 3 things are probably going to happen. It's not going to be the story we told you it was going to be. We're not going to finish it. Or it's not going to be the story we told you it was going to be. Yes, I know writers are very weird. I like being a writer, kinda. I've been published. It feels good to be published. It feels good to be say, yes, I have been published. Granted, it's a short story in a collection of short stories in a very small little book you can buy on Amazon. Okay, what have you done lately? Well, not in publishing form, but I keep writing. I'm always writing. Granted, it's not always short stories I'm writing anymore, but that hair is going to drive me crazy. It really is. Doesn't take much to drive me nuts. To distraction. Um, but my whole point is really, yeah, it took 40 years. Persistence. You have to keep writing. You have to keep writing, and you have to keep writing. Even because my style of writing has changed since when I first started. You read some of the stuff that I'm transferring from the flash drive to the blog site, and some of it I'm reading to realize I wrote this 10, 20, almost 30 years ago. Is frightening. It's so bad. It's so wooden. It is so uninteresting, and so my style has changed. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I think I've just started caring more about what I was writing. I think originally I just liked writing. I didn't really care all that much about certain things, like character development, plots that made sense, dialogue that made sense. I just wanted to write, and I didn't take I didn't take the craft seriously. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the craft of writing stories and such, but I didn't take it the actual structure of it seriously. I like to tease certain people about grammar, but it's not important. It's overblown. It's blah 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 blah. And I'm teasing them. I'm kidding them. I am poking fun. I am poking the bear. I'm poking the grammar police because they drive me crazy. Okay, they seem to think that grammar comes first and creativity comes later. No, it's creativity first and then grammar. They both work together, but you can't have grammar unless there's a story to write inside your head first. So I do like to poke the bear about the grammar police who like to, you know, correct my grammar, not realizing that a lot of times I'm not listening because you complain about everything I do. When it comes to writing, it's like, I got it. That's why it's called a rough draft. Rough drafts are allowed to have mistakes. It's when you finish it, but those mistakes shouldn't be there. They better not be there. But I do. I like to poke fun of the grammar police. I like to pretend that I don't think grammar is important and this, that, and the other. But that's the writer's life. I don't see this person writing anything anyway. But as I keep saying, I have been published. I like saying that because it took 40 years. It took 40 years of trial and error, writing and throwing things away and wanting to give up and wanting to stop and not wanting to care, but yet could not stop. Didn't really want to stop, but I did. I mean, it took a long time. 40 years is a long time to finally get published. And I'm 60, almost 61 now. I'll be 61 next month. I was in my 50s when I finally got published. In a book. Buy on Amazon. The reason I say that is because there are some people who do not consider this a published anything by me because it's a book with other people in it. They don't think that means I'm published. They mean that means completely something else, and that's not really your book, David, because other people's story is in an anthology of other stories. I've given up trying to explain to them the writing process, let alone what an anthology is. But there are people who don't think I'm published because it's in a collection of other people's stories. I really don't think they quite understand the writing process when it comes to writing anthologies or collections of other people's work. Those other 8 people, that's also their book. They can also say what I say, I've been published. They can say that. My mom's proud of me. Hey, woohoo! My mom's proud of me. But if you're gonna be a writer, you gotta write. It's like my don't be a writer, be writing. That's my favorite quote of William Faulkner. That's why that's there. I see we disconnected briefly there for a second. Be writing. Now, I do have this odd thing about me is I have a hard time starting. It's like I can't. The motivation to just start writing becomes the bigger challenge. But as soon as I start writing, I'm fine. It's weird. Once I start writing, I'm fine. Getting myself to do it is like, what is your problem? But I think that's called being a writer too. But I mean, as I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying, it was 40 years of trial and error, up and down, good stories, bad stories, atrocious stories. I've thrown away about a quarter of the stories I ever wrote. I'm pretty sure it's about a quarter of the stories I wrote are gone. They were just, they might have been good teaching tools, but as stories go, they were plotless dialogue messes and character studies that were one-dimensional. But, I mean, anyway, I don't want this to go too long. I'm already up over 10 minutes, so almost off. But anyway, so subscribe, share, comment, like, behave yourselves, people. I'm not going to. And, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of being published. I'm very, very grateful that after 40 years of still trying, never really actually giving up, of learning, of growing. As a writer, you have to change. You have to change. If this one style's not working, change it. I mean, I took a lot of writing classes in Century College or community college. Same difference, same place. I took writing classes. I took classes in English literature, British literature. I got into other writers who kind of helped me, guide me along the way. I mean, to me, is one of those writers that I'd like to think was a big influence on me. There is a biography in here somewhere of him, and I should probably do one of my book reviews on my blog site on that book. It was a good book. He was an interesting guy. He died young at 50 of cancer. But anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share on the YouTube channel, please. Not anywhere else, on the YouTube channel. I'm saying this for a reason for certain people. They know who they are. Behave yourselves, people, as I keep saying, because I don't know how. I do not know how, and I don't want to.